Look at that.
How about that call?
What a call. Like, I don't know the exact ruling around it, but like, is it like something automatic where if it's a 5-minute major, you get tossed, or like, why would they make that choice? Because if you're asking me, I think that's a clear down.
That was so bad. So bad. As someone who was a minor hockey official and like I officiated up to like junior B level of hockey, that is so bad. That is exactly the same play that Bluger took a hit when Zub got a 2-minute boarding call. But just because Norris's face hits the dasher, we got to call it a 5-minute. He toe picked. Hughes's momentum didn't even really cause most of the fall. And the frustrating thing is that at most, that was 2 minutes for boarding. He was cut on the face. You get 4 minutes because of blood. That's in the rule book. But because they have this stupid stipulation in the rule book that any boarding that results in an injury to the face or head is an automatic 5-minute major, which is horrible because Norris was back on the ice literally 2 seconds later after a little Band-Aid patch up. Like, completely asinine call. Like, I have no words for it.
It's one of those things, right? Like we talk about Boeser not even being back in the lineup. Jeannot's still playing, right? Does it sometimes feel as a Vancouver Canuck fan that the league is just out to get us? Because that's the kind of call where it's like, if that happened to us, it's only a 2-minute minor, right? And everyone's laughing.
Yeah, and people around the league wonder why we're so paranoid. It's stuff like this where it's like there is no intent whatsoever by Hughes on that play. He has 4 minutes total in penalty minutes coming into this game. The guy's one of the cleanest players in the league. Like, what are you doing as an official in that moment? I'm dumbfounded by it, but pushing that aside, great first road period. To kill off a 5-minute major, to come out and score on the power play with a depleted unit because you're missing 2 of your top power play guys in Miller and Boeser. And like Petey throwing the body around with a huge hit on Stützle there early and a close chance off a DeBrusque shot. Like, that was a really good road period. Yeah, Ottawa kind of pushed back a little bit late there, but Lankinen held us in, and a good defensive play by Joshua there in the last minute to take it off of the stick of the Ottawa player there on the short side when Lankinen kind of got a little crossed up. But overall, like to see us do better in the face-off dot, but can't really complain about much in that period from the Canucks as a whole. Yeah. That was probably one of their best starting periods all year.
I mean, can we just petition the league to have all of the games moved to the road?
Right? Like, isn't it getting old at this point? Like, these guys go on the road and they can put these games up and
yeah.
Anyways.
So the up would be, yeah. I mean, the only reason that the Senators even got back into that game, even got even in shots, was the fact they got a 5-minute major. And if that doesn't happen, then the Canucks they played almost all the rest of the entire period other than that 5-minute major in the Ottawa zone. The Senators didn't have a shot on net until after the first commercial break, which is usually around 7 minutes into the game. Like, they were playing like the Canucks do at home. So it was good to see that. We'll give that one a big fat up. For the
absolutely, and going into second, got to feel good being up 1-0 after the way that went.
Yeah, 100%. So good news: Brock Boeser on the trip in practice wearing a non-contact jersey. So that is a good sign. It doesn't necessarily mean he's playing very soon, but that means he's taking the right steps. What are you hearing about Boeser's timeline?
Yeah, I mean, the NHL has a back to work, so to speak, concussion protocol. So his next step is to start taking contact in a complete practice and see how he responds. And if the doctors give the thumbs up, he can play. So there's just one more step before getting back into the lineup. And I would expect we see him very soon, because I would imagine we probably skate on Monday before the back-to-back. And if he can get some hits in there and feels good, he'll be in the lineup.
Yeah, as someone who dealt with concussions back in the day, what was it, a grade 3 concussion from hockey? I don't know if you were on that team, but it was the same thing, right? Like, you just take it, you start day by day, you do a little bit more of a workout, and you just kind of see how your body reacts. Because at the end of the day, that's kind of what it is. You don't know how you're doing until you can get your sweat on, until you can get your lungs pumping. And then once you feel the next day, you're like, okay, I don't feel any of my symptoms. I'm going to take it up a notch. We're going to get some contact. So that's probably, like you said, the next step. If he's feeling good today, Boeser, like you said, Monday he'll practice and maybe he'll get bumped around a little bit to see how he's feeling.
Yeah, with the new protocol, anyone who gets deemed they have a concussion, no matter what the grade, you're probably looking at about 2 weeks, just based on the timeline that's been set for each step now. So Besser's probably on the best end of that timeline that he could be, given the extent of the injury.
Yeah, how long ago was that now? That was the LA game, right?
Yeah, coming up on a little over 2 weeks. So I think he missed he was a little behind on getting back on the ice, but once he started skating, his body's responding well. So I think if he takes some hits on Monday, we could see him early next week.
It's about some of the cavalry coming back. So the next one, I'm actually going to play you a quick little video clip. We're talking about Max Sasson getting his very first call up, and then
don't do it to him.
No, I'm not playing the clip of him singing the national anthem. This is from we've already seen that one a few times. We don't need to do that. Poor guy, but brave, right? Brave to sing the national anthem. But no, there's just a clip. He just asking about how it went, how he found out that he was going to go to his first NHL game.
Yeah, I just was in Henderson with the AHL team and got a text from RJ, our GM there, and said, give me a call when you can. And I figured it was good news. And he told me it was his favorite call to make and that I was going to be playing my first game on Saturday and I was going to get called up. And just a ton of emotions and kind of just, I'm sure it'll sink in even more, but just thinking about all the days at the rink and growing up and how much it means to my family and my friends and everyone that's followed me throughout my career. So a really special day.
Yeah. So exciting. His dad's his biggest fan. What can you tell me about Max Sasson and his rise to power?
I mean, just a hard-working center. He gets to the dirty areas in front of the net. Obviously undrafted, came out of the NCAA college hockey, signed by the Canucks. Before his call up to the big club, he was second on the team in points with on the Abbey Canucks, that is, with 4 goals and 5 assists. He was tied with Klimovich before he got called up there, and he also had 42 shots on goal. So offensively, he's pushing the play. A little bit of a late bloomer. He is 24 years old, so he obviously took a different road, undrafted, kind of not quite the Alex Burrows ECHL route, working your way up through, but similar style of story. So he definitely earned the opportunity with hard work at both ends of the ice. A responsible player, and he gets to the dirty areas in front of the net. That's where he's been getting his goals in Abbotsford, cleaning up rebounds and that sort of thing. So I would expect to see some of that gritty. He's like a perfect fourth line center. Gritty, hardworking, can put the puck in the net if you need him to, but isn't going to cost you in your own end. And so it's so far him and Ratu and Baines have looked quite good out there on the fourth line tonight. Very, very serviceable. So
did they get any time together playing down in Abbotsford as a line, or were they kind of separate? Or because I feel like they might have got a little bit of time as a line down there.
They did, because Sasson has been playing power play time, and then with Ratu and Baines when they were down, it was kind of the top line actually. Sasson, Ratu, and Baines. So yeah, experience. You can see natural chemistry, the way they have played so far. Obviously, short period, not a lot of time for the fourth line out there. But we'll see what the rest of tonight brings and see how many games he stays in here with our injuries. But a great opportunity for a great kid.
Yeah, and I mean, it was one of those things where I think people were a little sad to see Lekkerimäki get sent back down, but really that's what the Canucks are doing right now with this situation. They got the team close to home in Abbotsford, and they can give these guys a little piece, right? Now we can see how Sasson's looking. We got our little taste of Lekkerimäki. Now it's time to see how Sasson's looking. And then that gives them the ability to come up, spend some time with the big club, and then go back down and say, okay, this is what I need to focus on to be able to play at the NHL level, because I now know how I can play at the AHL level.
Exactly. And Talkett talked about it a couple days ago with Lek Aramaki going back down and saying, look, he does amazing things. He's got a lot of talent. He's got a great shot, but he wants to shoot. It's the offense away from the puck, like finding the open areas or going behind the net, skating with the puck a little bit, using your puck handling ability to try and generate more space rather than just kind of getting a bit stale in a dedicated position waiting for someone else to find you for a shot.
Right.
He needs to start making that space for himself. And so he got the taste of the NHL that he needed, because the AHL was becoming a little bit, oh, this is not easy per se, but he was finding the offensive touchdown there real fast. So this is good for him to go down, and if he can put those tools and things that the big club has asked of him, he'll absolutely just, his development's going to skyrocket. So I would expect to see him bringing some good numbers down in Abbotsford very soon here.
Yeah. And that, I mean, that's one of the things that people have compared him a little bit to Brock Boeser. And that's really when Brock Boeser's game took it to another level, was when he was part of getting the puck to the areas that they needed to be rather than just sitting there and waiting for the pass to come to him.
Exactly.
So the next topic is trade or clickbait, because again, this week, there's been stories wildly speculating about different things. Was it was it Friedman or no? It was one of the hockey insiders saying maybe the Canucks should trade for Zadorov.
Yeah, I think that was Friedman saying, maybe he'd be a good fit, just coming back to Vancouver. And you've heard Marcus Pettersson in Pittsburgh being thrown around too. There's all sorts of names, crazy rumors. Obviously, we have issues with our second defense pairing. It's not a secret. Everyone sees it. Susie has been struggling, and it has been bringing Myers' game down, and Myers has worked really hard with this coaching regime to elevate his game to a different level that we hadn't seen as Canucks fans.
Mm-hmm.
So we definitely need something, but if we're going to go the route of like a veteran, I'd prefer maybe Ian Cole coming back, who's putting up very good numbers so far in Utah. He's got that veteran stability, can play both sides of the ice, and he's comfortable with all the guys we got in the room. So, if you maybe need a deadline push for some depth on D and you want a veteran guy, then you go that route. But then also we have Alvin and Rutherford kind of saying, well, we only want to make a deal if it works long term. We've heard other analysts talk about those rumors saying that, if they're going to make a trade, it's going to be for someone that is young and is going to be part of the core of this team going forward. And that kind of leads me to more like say Keandre Miller out of New York Rangers, that we talked about last game. But, obviously the Rangers are still having a decent start to the year. So maybe we won't have the luxury like we had last year of getting that piece well before the trade deadline.
Mm-hmm.
We might have to wait a little further, given how the standings are right now. They're very, very even. Anyone could get on a hot streak and be in a playoff position overnight. So we got to probably wait another 10, 15 games to see where everyone's at before I think we see the Canucks make a big trade, because we do have key pieces coming back here real soon. And Demko will be back in the next week or 2 weeks, and Boeser in the next few days. And then Miller, after the road trip, hopefully is coming back refreshed. And then it's like, okay, we're not in such bad shape. So yeah, obviously there's always going to be trade talks and rumors when there's holes or things that you need to improve, especially when the expectations are to go on a deep cup run. So we know that Alvin and Rutherford are constantly tinkering and constantly looking for that new fit. So who knows what'll happen, but we definitely know as fans something will happen.
Yeah, I think obviously we've talked about it a little bit. I think Brandstrom has taken the urgency off just a touch because he has performed so well. But I wouldn't be surprised if we see a Canucks trade before Christmas, which would be a nice Christmas present, because that kind of seems to be Rutherford style, to get something done before Christmas. But sometimes it's easier said than done.
Absolutely. The market will dictate what we're able to do.
Yeah. And then some really good news. We finally get to talk about some good news coming out of Abbotsford. Tell me about the absolute shellacking they laid on Henderson the other day. Yesterday.
Just a 7-1 dismantling of the Henderson Silver Knights last night. Just a great overall game by the whole team. The defensive structure that Malhotra has been putting in place is now starting to look like everyone is figuring it out. They're really limiting high danger chances. Ty Young, second straight start and win, stopping 29 of 30 shots and looked very sharp in the game. It's could be tough to send him back to the ECHL. He hasn't looked out of place at all. And when Demko returns, there could be some tough decisions, and Patera, there could be some tough decisions at goalie needing to be made by Alvin and crew, because we've suddenly got a plethora of highly skilled goaltenders, and one of them may need to be traded as part of improving that second line pairing.
Yeah, it should be interesting to see what they pull off. But like we just talked about, trading is happening, and there are a lot of people looking for goaltending in the NHL. You never have too much depth. And as of now, Demko gets back out. You think Shilov's just got sent down. That's the easy pick. He can clear away. He doesn't have to go through waivers to get down to Abbotsford. So then you're looking at Lankinen and Demko up here. And then you got 4 viable AHL goalies, which could end up actually being really good backups for somebody else on trying to go on a big cup run.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so 7 goals by the Canucks. We had Tristan Nielsen, Ty Mueller, Chase Waters, Ty Glover, John Stevens, Danila Klimovich, and Kirill Kudryatsev rounded out the scoring in the only goal of the third period. Amon also 3 assists. The first star was Kudryatsev, who added 2 assists to his goal as well for 3 points. Really good game from him. Lek Aramaki, as we talked about, was back in the lineup. No points, but had 3 shots on goal, so still pushing that offense just like he was before he got called up. Klimovich is now up to 7 goals on the season, so if the Canucks still struggle with their offense, I wouldn't be surprised if he gets a look next and gets called up, because his game has really improved this season. It's made that jump that we've been hoping to see from him, to get that confidence to unleash that lethal shot. So yeah, and then they go again tonight at 6 p.m. We can update that after the game, and let's get back to the second period here.
Well, just before I get back to the second period, did I see correctly that defensive Petey got kicked out of the game?
They had late misconducts for roughing, so it wasn't anything major. It was just like the refs it's a 7-1 game. Stop it, boys. Let's call it a night.
Yeah, shenanigans.
So, yeah, it was nothing major. D. Petey and a player on the Knights both were given 10-minute misconducts. They weren't game ejections. It was just no time left in the game. So see you later, boys.
Cool.
Hit
Awesome.
the showers, cool off.
Yeah. Awesome. Second period just getting started. So we'll see you in the post games there, sir.
Right on.
Nothing is perfect.